Hi church family, I hope you're all well today. So today I'm going to share with you a bit about Church Without Walls. It seemed quite apt to come outside. I don't know if you can see behind me. We're on our one piece of exercise a day, family walk. Steve's taken the kids and the dog for a walk. It may go horribly wrong, I may get completely windswept, but we'll see. So Ella asked me to do today's talk on Church Without Walls. My immediate thought with this was when the walls of Jericho fell, and obviously that can be found in Joshua 6, 1 to 27. But then I started thinking, well, what does this teach us? Especially at this time, what does it teach us? What do we immediately think about when we think about that story? First of all, I thought, well, it's kind of, no matter where we are, no one can stop us praising God. Here I am, sat in the middle of Lexden on I think it's a BMX parky bit. But, I'm still here talking to you guys about God. No one, no matter where I am, can stop me sharing about God. And then I thought, well, is it that when we show God's love, some of our barriers fall down? Does it make us a slightly stronger Christian, give us more faith? Does connecting with someone within our church, we're built for connection. It builds relationship. We get to know each other better. We can learn so much, especially from some of our older congregation, the wisdom that they have, the journeys they've been on, the times they've had to see their faith tested. There's so much that we can learn by bringing down walls and bringing down the walls around our hearts. Or it could be that God's stronger than walls. It could be that actually at this time we're still doing church. We're doing church every day. We're not just doing it on Sunday. And I'm not saying that we don't normally do it every day, but we're actually connecting together every day as adults for our children, and just shows how strong God is. You can tell us that we're on lockdown. You can tell us that we, some of us can't go to work, so our children can't go to school. We can't go into our church building, but it doesn't stop us being church. It doesn't stop us being together. And I quite like that. I also quite like to think that it's God's way of giving us freedom to share God, to share good news. And it doesn't matter what people think of you, or how small we feel when we do it. Whether it's just popping a pint of milk round to someone, or making a phone call, popping flowers around to people. They might seem like not a big thing at the time, but the difference it makes on that person's life, that's huge. That's when God's taken our small act and turned it into something massive. And I quite like that, actually. We take away the walls and we let God work. I mean, that is really something. That's pretty amazing. And just to think that we can do that, even with being in complete lockdown, we can still show God's love by internet, by technology, by telephone, just by random acts of popping shopping on someone's doorstep and running before they open the door. It's more difficult now that we're in lockdown, but there's plenty of key workers among our church family that are still able to help with those things. So, actually, look at the day, it's gorgeous. There's not a cloud in the sky, and God doesn't stop us. God has given us this freedom, this ability to reach out to each other. And God delights in showing us how amazing He is through these situations that actually look impossible. Never ever underestimate God and what God can do through you when you make yourself available to Him. When I think about the story of Jericho and the walls falling down, God took regular men, got them to march around the walls, blowing horns and shouting to bring down walls. Do you know, if someone said to you, if you go march around the Colchester town walls for 6 days and blow your horns, the walls will come tumbling down, you'd kind of look and go, well, I don't think so. Those walls have been standing for years, they're well built. But through God, everything is possible. The lessons that we learn on our journey without walls are so valuable that they build our faith. They build us as people and as a congregation, as a family. And I just think actually that's really, really amazing, isn't it? But mostly that God will use your availability before he uses your ability. You know, you have to make yourself available to God, available to each other, for God to be able to show your abilities, especially at times like this, especially when we have to be the ones reaching out to each other. You know, it's not a Sunday morning over coffee where someone can just quickly grab you and go, oh, I just wanted to ask. I know we can still just ask each other, but actually these are the times when we need to contact people and say, I'm available. How can God use me within our church family?